Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. And as always, I am an amateur. This is for educational purposes only. All right, so we're up. We are up big time, and the primary driver of this move. Well, let's back up a little bit before we get to that. So yesterday was a really bad day for me, and we had very range bound trading. You can see here on the 12th, didn't really get very many points, so we were stuck in like an 8-point range because of the bond auction. We did trade a lot of volume yesterday. But then at the end of the day, long after I had stopped trading at least, saw a interview with Donald Trump came out on the Wall Street Journal where he stated that the dollar is too strong right now. And this has had all sorts of interesting moves since then. So you can see here on the E-mini we are opening up lower. Looking at the comments myself, I'm taking my usual stance, which is this is a nothing burger. I expect us to retrace this. So if we're looking here on our shorter term chart, I can see right here when we really started to move out, we came back to 153.04. So I'm gonna put that one as a level 153.4. So able to highs at so yeah, my bias is lower, definitely. And I'm gonna guess based on this was the close, the high here. We actually might be above the bull bear zone, so we'll see. Bring this GPI trading room in here. Morning.
Morning, Seth. How are you?
Pretty good. So, where did your bull bear zone end up being?
53.18 to 53.22.
Oh, so we're well above that.
Wow, we're 6 ticks above it.
Yeah. No, I was looking at these comments about the dollar. So I was a little surprised at first, and so I started going on the forums to see what the political people were saying, and it was like if you went on Reddit, it was like the biggest deal ever. And then if you went on the Donald Trump subreddits, it was like they didn't even mention it. They didn't even care. And the people that did mention it was just like, oh, he's just saying that because he's trying to make a deal with China or something like that. So I'm a little skeptical of the actual impact here, and I'm But there's kind of two things going on here. Like, one is I would think you would retrace the move. Two is there are other reasons why the bond has been going up, right? Like, these news surprises have all been in the direction of the general trend. So
You mean like the threat of nuclear holocaust and that kind of stuff?
okay, so now that one is really interesting to me because I was at the gym yesterday and I was reading through the headlines, and one of the headlines that came through was Kim Jong orders 600,000 people to move out of Pyongyang. And I'm like, what? Are they like preparing to like go all in? And I had heard these news stories earlier in the day about how they were ready to show journalists some special event or something like that. I wake up this morning, the special event was they opened up a new street on Pyongyang that has skyscrapers on it. And the news story that they were moving 600,000 people out turned out to be completely false.
Mhm.
So
Anyway, halfway back on the low yesterday to the high overnight is in this 5316 area. So if it holds, I think we can still go higher. And if they break it, then I think we're going to go and test that. On this chart, 53, even 5304, which is
hold on,
yesterday's close.
let me make this bigger here.
Yesterday's close was 5231 for the RTH.
Right. Uh, halfway back from the low to the high.
Yesterday's low to the overnight high is 5316.
Oh yeah, okay. I was looking at if it like fully retraces the move, then 153.04 looks to me to be the level. It's because it
I
kind of
was I
took
was
off and
basing it
came
off.
back.
I was basing it off yesterday's day session low,
Oh,
5222,
right. See,
to that overnight high.
I kind of like your level more actually, just because of where it was. So I mean, they played around with 16. I think there's a pretty good chance we get there. But we are above the bull bear zones, so
Or way above yesterday. I had a couple of naked closes here from back in February at '07 and '09, and we blew through that in the overnight. So we are a long way off 5322.
yep.
Sorry, 5222. And you got news right now, 30 seconds. Looks like we got an initial pivot high at the open at 53.29 on a 1 minute, and an initial pivot low at 27. So that's not that helpful. 2 ticks. Go back to my 2-minute chart. So news came out at 53:30.
News is mixed. So the PPIs came in below expectations. Negative 0.1 versus 0 on the PPI, and core PPI 0 versus expected 0.2. Unemployment claims came up a little under expectation, which is good. 234K versus 242K. Initial E-mini reaction looks negative.
Everything looks negative in the E-mini this week.
Oh yeah. Although, let me pull CNBC up here again because city earnings were really good apparently. 17%. Profit jumped 17%.
We're getting the sell-off off of this news.
You notice the liquidity came back like right away.
Mm-hmm. It's a short day. We got to get our work done and get out of here.
Why a short day?
Market closes at 2 for bonds today.
Was there something going on tomorrow? What?
And we're closed tomorrow.
Oh.
Good Friday.
Oh yes.
What rock do you live under anyway?
Well, nobody celebrates that in Utah.
Oh, I see. Well, all the markets are closed tomorrow.
I would always forget that holiday when I worked for the bank too, and when I'd get it off, everybody else was like, "What? You get Friday off? Why?" So confused.
Actually, the banks and the Fed are open tomorrow.
Really?
Yep, but the markets are closed.
Oh no, we were closed. If the market was closed, we were closed.
Well, I meant
Right,
I
right. I
didn't
get what you're
mean
saying.
I don't mean the brokerage houses. I mean the banks.
Yeah, like your Wells Fargo
Um,
is still going to be open.
right, and so's so the government offices tomorrow. So there is news on the schedule for Friday, if that makes any sense.
Well, I got the. Can you still hear me? Yeah, there we go. I got the surprise yesterday that they want to close on my house next weekend, so I have to move everything out of it this weekend. So I'm gonna take. I was taking tomorrow off anyways.
That low you're looking at is from 2 days ago at 04. Yesterday's low was 22, day session and overnight. The prior day's session low was down here in the 01 to 02 area.
Where are you getting the oh 04 from? Whoa.
You're the one that said oh 04. I said oh
Oh,
22.
I'm hold on a second. Do I want to
You're
take a
stoned or
second one
something.
here? I think I do.
Don't talk your sin trades, please.
Okay, so I was talking about um after the news that um the dollar is too high came out and it moved off. It kind of pulled back a little bit, and that was where it hit 153.04.
So you're saying that news came out yesterday morning at 8:30, 9 o'clock?
No, no, that news came out like a it was late.
3:30 or 4 o'clock?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, 5304 was our last pivot low, or our last pullback here.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
And our breakout was 7. We broke above the day session high. And I guess 10 was the breakout above the overnight high at 9.
And that was a real flush there from 27 to 24. Only 20 contracts traded at some of those levels.
Well, I think we're going to find out real soon who's really in charge here. Went from a minus 399 delta at 837 to a plus 408 at 838. So they kind of drew the line in the sand at 153.22. So far, the follow-up has been meager in both directions. A minus 45 and a plus 15. On the 1,000 volume chart, it still looks like a pullback in a downtrend below the VWAP and below the bull bear zone. So I think favoring a short might be reasonable. I had a sell signal at 26 that I couldn't hit because the bar jumped without a tick retracement. The total volume is dropping into nothingness. 155, 77, 16. Get this, the biggest spike of the day at 837 and the most minuscule at 841.
So, when it dropped there, I kind of see a divergence here between my footprint chart and my jigsaw, because jigsaw says last time it traded 26, 27 contracts traded, sold. Last time it traded 25, it says 33. But here on my 5-minute bars, you know, I'm seeing like 200, 300. Anyways, so I think that probably they'll trade 26. No, there they go right there. 27 is going to be where they're going to want to clamp back down on it again. See if they do.
For anybody that's confused about why Bill says price is below the bull bear zone, it's because he uses the 5 o'clock close, the settlement price from the CME, to calculate his. So his is based off of a close at 53.28 with a high at 54.10.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that. Sorry.
Yeah, mine is calculated off the 3 p.m. close, and we know we're way below the price we're trading at now at 3 p.m. yesterday.
What was yours again, John?
Mine works at 53.18 to 53.22 based off of a 52.31 close.
18 to 22. So
Yeah.
we're well above yours, huh?
Well, we've just tested the top of it here twice on the 1,000 volume chart.
Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't even talk about bull bear zone because I'm the only guy who does it this way, so it doesn't make any sense to anybody else. But I know where the initial pivot low is, and it's at 27. We just hit it 2 consecutive bars that were dojis. We're hitting it again. It's all on really quite good buying delta.
Yeah.
So this might be a clue. If they can't get through it on really good buying delta, even though the total volume is under 500 contracts on each of the bars with the good buying delta. So it was a lot of buyers, but the sellers just overall the interest was less going up. So if that condition continues, I would expect a pullback here. I mean, I expect this to be a pullback, not a change of direction. Now that could change, of course, in one bar, and this might be the bar.
1,000
So
all of a sudden. Oh my.
yeah, so the next line of demarcation or importance would be the open, I think, at 29. But this could still go down. I'm not totally giving up on the down yet.
Entry.
You know, my Ocana days said that the bond market closes today at 1 o'clock.
That's right. Early close for the weekend.
And tomorrow banks are open, but the market's closed. I don't usually see that. But if the market's closed, there's nothing going on, right?
That's right.
Oh, well, the bar that just popped up with the huge volume spike just got whacked at the initial pivot low.
Well, that 1100 lot that went through at the offer at 26 has got to be telling you something.
Yeah. There was some big orders back there at 26.
Yeah, it's telling me not to stand in front of a freight train is what it's telling me.
Mm.
Well, here's the open at 29, the VWAP's at 30, so and our daily highs at 31. So if it's going to stop anywhere, this would be it. And if they work their way through here with that same strength, that just confirms what I think that spike you just mentioned is telling us.
Hmm. I think they'd be pushing a little bit harder here at 29 when the offer is so weak.
Well, 154.14 or thereabouts has been like really important a number of times on a daily chart in the past 6 months. So if we get through 154.14 or 14 to 16 in that area and can actually stay above it, that would really, really indicate some market strength. And if we get whacked again, then it'll be more of what's expected.
You sure you don't mean 55.14? I got nothing at 54.14 on a daily chart.
I got 54.14.
Oh, we got a daily chart up right now, and then the last pivot high I got is 54.11 before the contract rollover. And then above that, I'm looking at 55 on the highs of the bars, 55.09, 55.13, 55.14, 55.16. Right in that little cluster in there.
Well, let me renew my historical data and see if that changes things or reload.
Mhm.
Now I got 54.14. And it's, let me see, what date was that? It was June 7th. No, it was November, right at the very end of November.
November
Oh,
29th.
For some reason, it's not reading in my data. But oh yeah, 1129. And the program drew the line. So then there were a number of other days where we were just below that. Let's see, January.
Something tells me your data's being adjusted as the contracts roll over.
Well, it could be.
Your
I mean, Hoffman had the same level last night, so he uses TradeStation in their data.
okay, so you're adjusting the old contracts. You don't see gaps for the rollovers, do you?
No, I don't. No,
Okay, well, that's why.
I'm not doing anything. I just did whatever the program did. 1,440 minutes, and that's it. I don't know what the program does to it after I create the chart. All I know is that right around that area, it's been important. So
You got a trade on?
me? No.
Mm-hmm. If you go to that control center, go to tools and options, and you'll get this little window pop up.
Just a second. Tools, options.
And then this little window pops up and there's half
Yeah.
a dozen tabs on the top. Click the one that says data.
Data, yeah.
And what's it say beside merge policy? It's on the left-hand side.
It says merge non-black adjusted.
Non-back adjusted.
Oh, non-back adjusted.
Well, that's what it should be. So I don't know why you're out 1 point from what I'm seeing. That's strange.
I can't explain it.
I can't either.
Well, whatever the case, there was a lot of days where right around there, it looked like there was sellers. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
The exact number is just, it's less important because you're not going to see it until a daily basis. You could go, half a point above it, and if it gets whacked down by the end of the day, it just looks like a wick. But right around there was important. How's that?
Well, it's a point off what I've got.
Well, I see what you're talking about at that level too. I mean, there were a number of bars back around the beginning of December, right around that level, the 55.15 level.
It's middle of November on my chart.
Huh?
It's the middle of November on my chart.
Oh, yeah, I didn't look in the data box. I agree. And that was on, based on my data, that was a pullback without a pivot. So it didn't even draw a pivot line there with the program.
Right.
And it's got using the single print indicator 5621 above it. I don't know if you use that on a daily chart or if you just do it on the 30-minute.
No, 5621 makes sense because the low of the day, the full session, the day the U.S. presidential election went off the night before, the low on that was 5622. So you should have a single print at 21.
All right, our data agrees on one thing.
Yeah, one thing.
Well, one thing we can say for sure is we just went one tick above the VWAP, and we're testing the high of the day session, that is. And that's a pretty strong indicator. The volume is pathetic. I mean, by pathetic, that's not very descriptive. It's 250 or below on the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars. And 8 of the last 9. So this isn't exactly the kind of push you would expect to see if you're going to bust to new levels. Of course, given my narrating history, instantly 1,000 contracts will trade and push us through that level. But at this moment, it hasn't happened. Every indicator I have says we should be going up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm kind of sitting here going, well, sorry, go ahead, sorry.
Is there a delay on your narration? Is everything in like real time? Because like on Comcast, I have they have a delay on the picture and the sound. It's only noticeable if you look at it. But is there such a thing in the narration in the room?
I'm sure there's a little bit of lag.
I'm just wondering because this morning seems like you and John are talking over each other constantly. I'm just wondering if there's a program thing that because the way I'm hearing it is just a lot of conflicting voices. It's not usually like that, but today it seems to be.
I'm probably just dumping the gun. Go ahead.
I've tried to answer that question 3 times now. So, no, there's no delay. I just stop talking if I hear you talking. So,
no delay. Okay. All right. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be like, a 50 to 100 millisecond delay, but it shouldn't be enough for you. But it can be enough to where 2 people can start talking at the same time and think that nobody's talking. But,
I was just asking because it's not normally like that. Well, whatever the case, we're still stuck on the VWAP here. Everything still says up. The volume says, who cares? It's in a bad zone for me on the 1000 volume chart in that it's right on the VWAP and it's above the 20 SMA, which shows up at the moment. So I'd kind of like to see it get out of this area before doing anything. I haven't even had a trade yet today, so.
I'm still thinking about all those big orders that went through at 26. Seems to say to me that we should trade above 154, but I'm kind of like, I don't know if I really want to trade it if we're going to be going up above 154. It just conflicts too much with what I thought was going to happen, so I think at that point I should probably just stay out of it because I know I'll make bad decisions at that point. I already kind of screwed up there down at when it hit 22.
Well, consider too that there's if there's early, not that if there is early close today, it's a long weekend, and there are all kinds of world situations that could have a dramatic effect on bond pricing. I would be hesitant if I were more of a position trader to do anything today, just because of the potential for price moves that can't be foreseen because of world events. So that's usually a prescription for a choppy price action or for a move early, so traders can make some money and get out of town while the getting's good.
So what do you make of that stuff that happened at 25-26 where it's like 500 contracts traded all at once and everything?
I don't know what to make of it. I never know what to make of it because it's all, I mean, seriously, it's all speculation of what caused what. And all I'm looking for is to see what they've established as important levels in the overnight, and what levels have been established since we've opened, and where are we in relationship to that. And the one that's always present is the VWAP, and we're sitting right on it. So for me, I mean, for some people that would be considered a potential for an entry. I mean, you're either going to be right or wrong. You're kind of in the middle, so to speak, where the volume is, and um, it can only go two ways, right? Well, three ways, I suppose. It could go sideways the whole day in a
Yeah.
one tick range, but that's unlikely. But for me, it's let's get away from here and then retest it and then see if it continues in that direction. And if that doesn't happen, that's going to be more indicative of a responsive day where it's going to set some parameters, and you're probably going to trade off of those parameters um, for the remainder of the day. So again, I'd like the market to show its hand. So far, all it's showing me is that 153.31 is important, and we got the even number at 154.
The way that it pushed off there, 31.
Yeah, but it didn't do it with any volume. That's, just drifting around in a couple tick range doesn't tell me a lot. What the last thing that told me something was 846, where we had 2,300 contracts on one bar, which is by far and away the biggest bar of the day, and we moved up. And the sellers really haven't been able to muster much of anything since then. If you look at the deltas, what's the biggest selling delta on any bar since 846? And it's about 75 contracts or so. Now, the buyers haven't exactly been um, exerting themselves because the total volume is down. But if the buyers pushed it up to this level and the sellers aren't doing diddly to take it down, my expectation would be for higher prices. Tell me if you see it any different. That would be my reasoning.
Um, so um, the only reason why I was saying I liked what it did there was that we absorbed about 350 contracts, and he was doing the lure where he was only showing like 50 of his refreshing order, and then I don't know why, but they immediately sold 200 at 153.30 to push it down, and they immediately offered about 200. That was good.
Good
But
meaning, what does that mean, good?
well, if you move in a direction and then the level 2 firms up immediately after it, that's that's a good indication that you'll continue lower.
Oh, okay.
And it depends on how fast and immediate. Like if we, let's just say for instance we're at 30-31, if we sold everything that was being bid at 30 and immediately offered 1,000 contracts, that would be a really good indication to sell, right? That rarely ever happens. Let's see. We did that, and now we're kind of coming up. We touched 54. Let's see, when that happened, it was a good signal, but it was only good for like 2 ticks. That's the problem with the level 2 signals, is they're very, very short term. And you don't know, he does that, and then maybe somebody sells again at 29, and now all of a sudden you start getting delta, and that's how it can kind of turn into a larger move.
Well, we had that one bar gap up to 154, and the gap was immediately, the next bar was immediately a gap down, and it didn't just fill it, it exceeded it. So it doesn't exactly speak to higher prices at the moment. Now the sellers are making an attempt. We got a minus 287 going on this bar, but we haven't even hit 500 contracts. And it still hasn't exceeded the open.
Yeah.
So again, if the sellers can't take it down after a concerted effort and even break through the open, then we're probably going higher.
Yeah. Well, they hit 29 twice. 250 contracts so far. Okay, now they hit it again, and it took 500. They were able to push through. And they bid about 200. Or sorry, they offered about 200. Now we can see some bids pulling a little bit. So now that time there was 400 bid at 27, and people were still willing to sell it. That was interesting, but of course they pushed it right back up. Guessing they wanted to fill that gap that they made there.
Well, 27 is the initial pivot low, so it's a very narrow range today, 27 to 29, low to high on the initial pivots.
That time they absorbed 300, and then they offered another 300. Seems like somebody wants to sell 29. Of course, we tick down. At 400 again at 27. See what it takes to get 27 to pull.
So we've got a plus 102 delta and a red bar and a down bar. Something's going to give. I don't know which.
So this is just like what you're saying, though, is if 27 is a key level to look at, then we should expect to see a lot of contracts trade there to have to push through it. Now they're pulling
I,
at 27 and they're not selling it. That's really bizarre.
I would say that about any key level. You don't just usually waltz through key levels
Yeah,
because
exactly.
that's why they're key levels. Unless your assessment of a key level is off, of which I've done in the past
Yeah. Well,
and
or
will do again in the future.
and it could still be a key level. It just means that the institutional buyers there decided not to draw the line at 27. But there's total chance that next time we come back up to 27 that volume there or something. But 27 pulled. Now we're trading. Now we got 26. Let's see if 26 pulls. We're getting absorption again on sellers absorbing at 27. They've absorbed 400. I'm sure this will be another 500er.
Well, two of the last three bars were down bars with positive delta. I don't know. There's no hints that this is going to break one way or the other to me, because every time we get to a level that looks to be important, like 27 or 29 or 31, the volume seems to go away and the opposite side comes in. So early, and this is only 912, early would seem to indicate a responsive market today, unless consumer sentiment proves to be some sort of a disaster or a blowout number.
Right.
But again, taking a position, for anybody who's longer term, taking a position in front of a 3-day weekend with a wealth of world events that could significantly affect bond prices wouldn't be the prudent thing to do. So you're probably just looking at little guys trading today and chopping the market around.
Okay, so there it took 500 contracts to push through 27. So that would be a that would speak to lower, but 500 isn't a ton. If that was 1,000, I would probably be like, I should go short here. $14 into 28, huh?
Well, there was a grand total of 31 contracts traded on that last 1 minute bar. Our, our volume is fading into nothingness.
Yeah. So now these people that bought at 27 are defending their positions with a big bid, 400, and see nobody wants to sell it. Of course, why sell it if you think you could get filled at 28, right?
Well, when I don't know what to do, I typically default back to the 1,000 volume chart. And basically that shows we're below the 8 EMA, we're above the 20 SMA, we're below the VWAP, and that's a zone where uncertainty reigns. So for me to want to risk real money on this, I think it's got to get below like 26, or it's got to get above 31 on a continuing basis, come back and retest those levels, and then fail one or the other, whichever way it goes. So that's what I'll be looking for, and I really can't say anything intelligent
No,
until that happens because it's just chop to me.
those levels are perfect though. I mean, that's exactly where the people stepped in and to push it out. The one. This kind of action is a little frustrating because, you know, there was definitely some aggressive buying at 27 that was able to push price up, and they push it up 2 ticks, and then everybody decides that they don't care anymore. So it's like if you decided to take an as she goes signal there, okay, yeah, you have a tick, and then you don't know what's going to happen, right? I think part of it is they might be waiting to see what the 10-year does here. Very strong resistance at 126.01 half. We can trade 125.31. $500 help. So that time 500 traded to push it away from 26. And the sellers came back and pushed down through it. Touch 31? Yes. They pushed through that to 25 pretty aggressively too. Now they're doing absorbing again at 26. $27 is holding. Didn't like that. Never do what I just did. Oh my gosh. I mean, way back here, it hit 26. It gapped twice. It should have been out. I don't know what I was thinking. It was stupid, stupid, stupid. Oh, it looks like there's still some pretty strong buyer interest at 26, but the sellers seem to be moving their level down. Sorry, I forgot to come into this room too. So all right, well, it's right at the 26 there. There we go. Now we're seeing the absorption going up against the flow at 153.21. There we go. Your favorite number, John?
Yeah, they made short work of it. That was the 50% pullback I wanted to see.
I took 21 to 16, so
21 took you that long to get sold on the short, did it?
well, let's you you go watch the video. I did something really bad.
The thing I noticed was we put in a pivot high there at 31. We came back and we had a double top. We went
Yeah.
through it by one tick and it really failed right there.
Yeah.
So that this pivots indicator of ours draws a trend line, and it drew that trend line across that double top, and it didn't even get retested. So
Right. I
could have been short anytime after that formed.
Yeah. Well, anytime after what was the number?
31.
Oh, anytime after 31.
907, 909, about 30 minutes after the news.
See, I was
It was
thinking
just down from there.
I was thinking about going short around 28, 28, 26, and I was like, no, I just made like a really big stupid mistake. Let's wait, and so I waited for a more clear signal, and it just didn't come through until 21. So
Mhm. You wanted to see them get through that 26, 27 area, I imagine.
yeah, I felt like when they pushed through that 31, the way that they did it, I kind of thought that maybe we would go lower. I wish that I don't know. The thing was is when that first push down, when we pushed to 22, and then what we gapped
Mhm.
up twice and everything, that that action there was super aggressive. Super aggressive, and that really was what kind of screwed me up.
We kind of had the same thing on that knob spread again last night. We had this lower high. We got a higher high here.
Yeah.
Actually, it's an equal high, but the momentum was lower. On this high, we were over here. On the second time we tested it, we were over here. And then we actually went higher, but we still didn't break above this one as far as where we were in relation to the 10-year. This higher high was weaker than this high in the overnight. So trend line painted down, and it's been on there for quite a while. Even this little push was still lower.
Yeah, the 10-year really took a dive there. That's not good. That's not good for the economy overall.
Why is that?
Well, it indicates that people are. It means the curve is steepening.
Anyway, this is our 16-17 area, so that's the 50% pullback of yesterday. So now we'll see what they really want to do.
Yep.
I get to my attractor area anyway. Midpoint for yesterday's day session is 14. Volume point of control is 15. And halfway back on the move was 16. It was all right here in a little cluster.
Really playing with the offer at 18. Contracts trading around. Now, this is an interesting one here. 11 tick zipper, but the lead into it was at 15, so this just says that we should go down from here. Of course, the 10 years doesn't seem to agree. I think I need to adjust the settings on that stop because I didn't want to get stopped out there.
So the last rotate down late yesterday was 12. We break that, then we're looking for 04.
That was a false breakout of a zipper if I ever saw one.
Actually, I shouldn't say 04. I guess the first thing we'd want to test is that breakout at 10.
Hmm. And there's that absorption against the flow at 15.
We had news at 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah, consumer sentiment was 98.
Yeah. So that was out at 53.17. 18.
Did you take a trade on that way down, by the way, though, when it got below 26?
I sold 25s and took 23s. And I just sold 14s.
So that's good. It got right to the first level we wanted to test at 12.
I wanted 15, but I don't think it's gonna. I took one at 16. I was like,
Twelve, 10, and 4. On a 1,000 volume chart, we haven't had a pivot since we put in the pivot high up there off of 31 at 29. Two-minute chart's about the same, only the pivot high confirmed at 24 on that one.
Just to add to the mix, the 200 SMA on a 15-minute chart comes in at 7 right now.
I looked at that. I thought it was kind of interesting, but it's kind of like a broken clock. It's right twice a day, regardless.
Well, you got a single print at 5 on a daily chart as well. So how about there's a couple things happening down there that could stop it.
Mm-hmm. They're flashing that size at 10, 10, 11, 10, 11 in the bid.
Probably going to come back and touch 15 here. Is
Well, this price action was so exciting, it even got the birds chirping again. Haven't heard any birds all morning.
It's a balmy 40 degrees here on a cloudy, overcast day. So birds probably got to work late.
Same here, only it's raining here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I was looking at the weather forecast for the long weekend because our grandchildren are coming to visit. So figures it had to be a rainy, dull weekend.
Well, here Saturday and Sunday look okay, so maybe you'll get lucky over there, and we'll send you some good stuff.
How do you like that bounce off of 12? Huh?
yeah. They're absorbing again at 15. 500.
It's all those Fibonacci guys laying claim to 50% being one of their numbers. Lucky for them, there was a 50% calculation, or none of the numbers would work.
This should be that situation the market delta guy always talks about, where the eagle comes and kills the baby birds.
Oh, stop it.
All these people that got long at 18, 19 that went out.
I love how Market Delta laid claim to the footprint chart that they bought off of that poor sap over there at IRT.
I looked at their software, but I didn't really see anything all that special about it. I was like, there's nothing in here that I can just add myself. Not that I think any of it is that useful.
I think it was a dumb move by IRT to give it up. This is when they had the footprint on their platform. It was a great platform, and then they took it away
Yeah.
because they sold it to Market Delta and they couldn't have it anymore. So it's just stupid.
Yeah, why would they do that?
I have no idea. I had IRT back when it had a footprint, and I thought it was a fabulous little program, and because it give you so much flexibility on other things you could do, studies, and
Right.
just it was amazing. And then they sold the rights to Market Delta, and you couldn't have it on IRT anymore. So I gave it up. I said, forget it. It's still a nice platform for doing all kinds of studies and stuff, but if you can't have the footprint charts.
Market Delta almost went under too.
Did they?
Yeah, because Trevor used to be on the, let me think, I think it was the 15th floor of the CME. And he had just a little 10 by 10 area like off the reception desk for an IB. And he had just lost his technical guy, and it was only him. And he didn't write code or anything like that. So he was just sitting outside this IB's office trading himself. And I went over there one morning and I watched him trade, and his subscriber base at that time was less than 80 people. I think he said it was 79 people. And now he's got a beautiful big building out in, I think it's Batavia, which is northwest of Chicago. Just a beautiful big building with a training classroom, and he's doing real well now. Got employees and everything. But I will say this, Trevor was one of the honest people in the industry, which is saying something, because a lot of the people I came in contact with at that time were not so much so. And he's got this kind of high intonated voice, but when you see him in person, he's like a football lineman. He's a big guy, real muscular, but you just happens to have a high voice. He's a very nice guy. I like him. They had I haven't seen him for a number of years. The last time I saw him, they had a big open house, and I went over there, and the guy who was in charge of electronic trading for Dorman, Bob Seiler, he was out there, and they had nice food and a real spread. And the guy they got doing commentary for him, his name just escapes me right now. I think it's Jason something or other. He used to be, he didn't actually trade. He was a runner. but he saw what people were doing when they were trading, and he's doing their market calls basically on the ES, and they use the 10-year note as their complementary market, note down, or ES up, so to speak. But at one time, there was just him, and he had lost almost everything and everybody. But I'm glad he's doing well, because I like to see the good people do well. Well, one would have to say that this looks like a huge descending triangle with a couple bases being put in right around 12.
That was our first pivot after that pivot high up there at 31.
We've still got a bit of a cumulative delta divergence here. I'm a little skeptical. They make another push for 12 if they exceed it. Although this little pattern that we've made here looks an awful lot like the one that we made earlier. Still there?
Who?
I think I
Am I
lost.
still here?
I think I lost my connection for a second.
No, I kicked you out of the room.
No, my rhythmic connection died too.
Gotta love it when technology fails you.
Right.
Doing pretty good volume today so far, about 125,000. It's not bad for a short day.
I'm hoping when I move, I'm able to find a house that's got the fiber optic because I uploaded my video yesterday, and I started it, a little bit after I left, so I started it basically at like 8:45, and the upload didn't finish until 5 o'clock that night. So I think that Comcast has started throttling my upload speed.
You should move out of that third world country you're in. Where'd you say you were? Utah.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice in Salt Lake City. At least compared to other places I've been. I lived in Missouri for a while. That was a dump.
Careful now, you might offend somebody.
No, I mean, the Missourians are completely open about it. Oh, okay. Somebody just bid 400 at 17 out of nowhere. Sold it. Sold out of it. there's a fairly good possibility of them pulling a level break on 18 here.
I don't even know what that means.
It means they're going to try and push it higher through 18.
Oh, why don't you say they're going to try and push it higher through 18?
I think you might want to absorb some more at 17 first. Yeah, I'm not going to take this one
That bull
because...
bear,
Go ahead.
that bull bear is doing a good job today. Tested 22 a couple of times, broke down through it, came back and tested 18 a couple of times.
I was going to say I only like to do the level break trade when there's really clear direction, and right now I don't feel like that's the case.
Well, you're a long way from your last pivot low, so got 7 ticks of risk if you get long here.
Yeah, but I think with that big bid that they put at 17, if they can't get below that, then I think there's a good chance of us going higher here.
I guess you could have 3 ticks of risk if you used 14 for a stop.
Yeah. I've still done a lot of looking at trading these zones where, like, you know, we're in a 4-tick zone here. Maybe you can buy 15 and sell 17. But I've decided that if it is a good strategy, I'm not good at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's seagulls?
Yep. It's mating season for the seagulls.
We get seagulls in Utah.
I think you get them just about anywhere you sell French fries.
Oh, really?
That was a joke.
Well, I guess you're on Ontario. I guess there's lots of water around there.
There's water 100 feet from me.
There we go. Now they bought through 18 pretty strong there with 400 contracts. About 500 left. Maybe that's all he's gonna get out of it. It's 20. You said that 153.12 was a single print, right?
No, I said it was 12 was that last rotation down after the move up. We
Oh,
pulled
okay.
back to 12.
Hmm.
And then I said the breakout when we got above the overnight high at 9 was 10.
Yeah.
And they traded right in the middle to 11. I thought the attractor was going to be that midpoint of yesterday's, that late session move at 14, and the volume point of control they put in there on that move, 15.
153.15. Hmm.
Yeah, that was the attractor I talked about this morning, but you weren't here. So
Did
I
you?
said this area, 14 to 16, was somewhat of an attractor because of the volume, the midpoint, the move, the breakout, all of that. So
Well, there is a volume there at 17.
yeah,
I think my hypos said that retraced to 153.08, so I was wrong on the level, but then in fine balance, so maybe they will find it at 26 though. Maybe they'll find it at 17. Anyways, I will catch you guys next week.
well, good luck with your move.
Thank you. You have a good weekend.
You too.